All these things are notions of value. In the 16th, 17th, and 18th century, we originally had notions of value that were based on this concept called mercantilism. Now, again, if you're in my 101, you've heard this before 1,000 times. Thankfully, in 102, we don't have to memorize it. I just want to talk about it in general. Mercantilism was based on this idea that all wealth was measured in gold and silver, and that as a result, there was only so much money in the world. Wealth was limited, it was scarce, based on how much gold and silver there was, which meant that you wanted to make sure that you ended up with better trade than other people, because for you to win money, somebody else had to lose money, okay? That wealth was what we call a zero-sum game, right? That somebody had to lose in order for another person to win back and forth. Because of that, when we were still colonies, before we were America, England's government very tightly regulated how money was spent, who could buy and sell goods. There were government-given monopolies. Certain people could only sell us tea. Certain people could only sell us various different products because they were specifically, they prohibited us from selling to certain countries. All these rules, the Trade Navigation Acts, very much limited our trade. But at the same time, it was based under this concept of mercantilism, that it was going to work the system best. But in 1776, a guy by the name of Adam Smith, an Englishman who was looking at the system, said, wait, no, I think something's wrong. And he said, there's a problem. And he would write a book, which often is published as a series of books because it's big, called The Wealth of Nations. And in it, he would detail out what today we would call the system of capitalism. Okay. Now, what was this notion? He said, so imagine for a minute that I'm a shoe maker. Okay, I make shoes. Very nice, I make shoes. Now, if I'm a shoemaker and I make shoes, if I'm the only person who can sell shoes to you, if I'm from England and I'm the only person who can sell shoes, first of all, how good a shoe do I have to make if I'm the only person who can make shoes for you? I make a crappy shoe, shoe de crap. I know. How much can I charge for this pair of shoes? As much as I want, $300, $400, $500 for shoes. And by the way, if you buy shoes for $500, you're fucking insane. Okay. Particularly if they're like sneakers. I never could understand that. People spending hundreds of dollars on something dumb. Okay. Like when I was younger, Air Jordans, I think that's what they're called. They were, because what was there? They had a little air bubble in the back, you know, and they make you jump because you have an air bubble, right? And all that. And people would spend $200, $300 for a pair of Air Jordans. Okay. That's fucking stupid. Okay. Quick note. If I have here a bag of chips, I say $1. Same size bag of chips, I say bag of chips. Now with more air, $10. More air means less chips. You were making $200 for less shoe. It was stupid. Still stupid. Look, if you really need an air bubble in the back of your shoe, I'll tell you what, for $10, I will blow up a condom and staple it to the back of your sneaker. You can even call it Air Trojan. The safest shoe ever, okay? And you can be styling, okay? Don't spend that much money. It's stupid. Okay, anyway, but, and if shoes were $300, $400, $500 a pair of shoes, how many pairs of shoes would you own? One. Yeah, I would own one shoe, and it would still be on layaway. I'd come to work saying, honey, can I borrow the shoe? And I'd be walking like this, putting my best foot forward, the one with the shoe. Okay, that'd be it. Because, and so this, Smith saw it was wrong, because under the system of mercantilism, that there was no value in making things any better. There was no value in people getting more things. And so it was like everything was frozen. He said if you added in one magic ingredient fixed everything. What was that magic ingredient? Competition. You added competition, everything changed. So suddenly, if you had, on the one hand, the English shoemaker, okay, an English shoemaker, and he's making it for $500 a pair of shoes, and the Dutch come along and start making it for $400 a pair of shoes, what's the English shoemaker got to do? Lower his prices or make a better shoe. So as the price goes down, the quality goes up. The price goes down, the quality goes up. The price goes down, the quality goes up. And that happens on both sides. It keeps on going down. The price goes down, the quality goes up. People are making more and more shoes. They're making more and more shoes. Suddenly, people can afford more shoes because now shoes are not $500 or $200. Now they're $20 a pair of shoes. And $20 a pair of shoes, how many pairs of shoes can you own? Hell, I can buy a lot. Buy them for myself, my kids. Hell, put them on the dog. Use them as earmuffs. Okay, they're cheap. So they have to buy more and more shoes because there's a higher demand for shoes, because shoes are cheap, because as the price goes down, the quality goes up, people can buy more and more shoes. As they buy more and more shoes, there's a higher demand for shoes. Now I'm going to have to make more shoes. As the English shoemaker, I'm making more shoes, but if I'm making more shoes, I'm having to buy more raw materials in order to be able to make those shoes. Now, making more raw materials, as we all know from Sam's Warehouse, if you buy lots and lots of stuff, what is it? You buy it, it's cheaper, right? You know, you buy a bulk, you know, and you buy 1 can of beans. It'll last you for a year. It'll only have friends for the first week, but it will last you for a year, right? Okay, that's a Sam's Warehouse principle, right? You know, all that. So if you buy a bulk, good, okay. But what do we call that when it's cheaper to buy in bulk? There's an economic phrase for that.
Costco.
That too. Yeah, since Sam's Club is gone, I'm a Costco guy only. I used to actually have cards for both. No, Costco only. Sam's is far away, but they have great chicken salad. But what do we call it? Economies of scale. Economies of scale that you're able to do. So as the prices on the quality goes up, they're having to make more and more shoes. They make more and more shoes. They have to buy those raw materials. The raw materials is economies of scale. They're buying a bulk. It's cheaper. So the prices on the quality goes up. They can still maintain their profit margins. So they continue to make more shoes. But the problem is now if there's going to be this higher demand because the price goes down, the quality goes up. People are buying more and more shoes because shoes are cheaper. Now they can afford to have those shoes. Now all of a sudden there's going to be all this demand for shoes. But if there's all this demand for shoes, can one shoemaker make all the shoes himself? No, and he can't get the elves to do it. They've gone and they're making fucking cookies. Okay, so if you can't get the elves to make the shoes, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to go in and hire some workers, some labor. And if you're going to get that labor, they're not going to do it for free. And since they're not elves, they're not doing it for cookies. And so what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to take that labor. You're going to have to give them some money. Okay, so these workers who are, because the price goes down, the quality goes up, they're making more and more shoes. They're making more and more shoes, so they're working labor because they're working labor because they got the raw materials. Well, the raw materials and the economies of scale are making those shoes, but if they're making those shoes and they're making money, when they're making those shoes, that money they're going to go home and sometime when they go home, what are they going to do with that money? They're going to go out and spend it. They're going to buy other things. They're going to buy, I don't know, coffee machines, you know, and there's going to be beer, or they're going to actually go and buy underwear or hats or anything else. This is when there's competition in the beer market. And suddenly there's all sorts of beers, there's lots of different beers, there's competition in the beer market. And so the price goes down, the quality goes up. As the price goes down, the idea of the quality going up in beer, that's sort of ironic, but I'll move on from there. The price goes down, the quality goes up, the price goes down, the quality goes up. People can buy more and more beers. They're going to buy more and more beers. Competition in the beer market. But now you're going to have more people to brew the beer. You're going to have more people to brew the beer. You're going to have to hire more labor. You're going to hire more labor. You're going to get them more money. They're going to go home. They're going to buy more shit. That's the American system. Thank you. I'm here all week, sadly. But the point of the story is that this was, yes.
That was one of the last matches.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh. So I'm giving you more value for your money and you're disappointed. Boo-hoo, boo-hoo. All right, anyway, so the point of the system was that with competition, according to Smith, this fixed everything. Now, along with this competition, there were two corollaries that kind of followed from this. Because they said, yeah, competition, good. Thumbs up, okay. But two things follow. One, if government had always hindered competition, what was, according to Smith, the role for government now? No. Yeah, okay. Not to encourage it, but they instead should just keep their hands off. They should stay out of it. Using that French phrase, laissez-faire, to keep the hands off, okay? That the government should not be involved at all. But people said, okay, well, that would take care of things like, you know, monopolies the government created and all that, and restrictions the government created. But they say, well, what would happen if one company became a monopoly? How would prices fix themselves? How would all this actually work? And he said, basically, the market was magic. It took care of itself. Now, what did he use for this phrase, that the market took care of itself? What was that phrase?
Free market.
But the free market would do something. There was something in the market, the invisible hand of the market. Have you all heard that phrase, invisible hand? Because what it said was this, say that somebody did have, like a monopoly, was charging too much for something. Well, that price wouldn't necessarily stand, because according to Smith, what would happen? Well, because what would happen? Somebody else would come in and make a competing product and make it cheaper, and then people would either buy the competing product and therefore, you know, do that, or this company would be forced to lower the prices, and if they did, somebody else would buy this, and this company would go bankrupt, right? Then it would naturally find it was the invisible hand of the marketplace. If the marketplace would be self-correcting, it would fix everything. Okay.